at a hotel of 20,000, knowing that his allocation from the company was 10,000. Now, he did that because of the friends that were with him. Now, he has paid 20,000. He's already at a deficit of how much? 10,000. Now, when he and his friend now went downstairs to entertain themselves, I did an estimate of what he spent just being there. And in just that one night, he was running an expense of close to 100,000. Now, this guy's salary per month is 120,000. Now, most of us actually have this problem in our own many ways. But the point is that if you have not taken out time to say, see, I need to be financially disciplined. I need to actually say, these are the things I will start to do, and that in 2019, these are the things I must stop doing. And which is why also part of the discipline you might look at is there are some habits that we actually have developed. Now, see something about habit. Let's do a simple exercise so people can understand how powerful a habit can be. Because you might just think, this guy is very financially reckless. Most habits, most people actually don't know that they have this habit. Most of us wear trousers, right? Now, just think in your mind which leg you used to wear your trouser. Now, in your mind, now try to wear your trouser from the other leg. What happened? That is how powerful a habit is on our lives. But most times we don't even know that. I think until now, most of us don't even know consciously that we use the same leg to wear our trouser. There are certain habits that we've been practicing, and if we don't change this habit, what do we expect? By this time next year, hitting that 6.5 billion might be very difficult for us. It means that for us to do that 6.5 billion, certain habits of our marketing practices have to change. And if we are changing them, that is where self-discipline comes in. And which is also where I'll talk about continuous improvement later on. The other liabilities that a lot of us carry, I was listening to this man called Peter Daniels. I'll strongly suggest go to YouTube and look him up. Peter Daniels. Now, he said that because of the teacher, he was born with diphtheria, and it affected his mind. And because of the teacher he had in primary school, who was telling him that you're a very, very bad boy, you can't amount to nothing, he just assumed that he wouldn't amount to nothing. And for years, he was just a bricklayer. He couldn't achieve anything because he has actually been built into him that he wouldn't amount to nothing. But say at the age of 26, he attended Billy Graham's convention, and at that point, he realized that he could achieve whatever anybody could achieve. At that 26, he was a bricklayer, but as at now, he's the second richest man in Australia. He's actually the only family in the world that has their own private currency. You can go online and search for him, Havila Bank. They are the owner of Havila Bank. The point is, how can a man move from a bricklayer at 26 and get to a point where he could actually become the richest man? He said that one of the things he found out that his biggest problem, which is what is holding a lot of people down, was procrastination. That most times what he wants to do today, he tells himself he will do it tomorrow. But you need to understand, tomorrow never ends. That by this time tomorrow, you are already in today again tomorrow, and you tell yourself, I'll do it tomorrow. And most of the reason why we fail to achieve our goal is because that we formed procrastination as a habit. And when that thing gets inside of us, it becomes extremely difficult for us to achieve whatever we want to achieve. The next one, I think I mentioned financial illiteracy, laziness, low self-esteem. We'll get to that. So, what is the fundamental factor that can drive the 6.5 billion this year? Fundamentally, no man can achieve anything if he or she is not motivated to go for those factors they want to achieve. Let's say, for instance, you are driving and somebody comes from behind you and hits you from the back. And you look at the mirror and I see a young man, and maybe you just assume that he made a mistake. And he goes back again, you are in traffic, your front is free. He goes back, comes front, and hits you now big time this time. What do you think will be your reaction? Okay, so you jump down out of your car, now looking at the small boy, and you open up the door. And as you open his door to give him the slap, you see a pistol pointed at you. What do you think will be your next action? Because then initially you had a motivation which was to go and give him a good slap. Suddenly, based on what you've seen, the motivation has actually changed. Part of the things we actually will be doing today is how to get the motivations right for you guys. And the first thing you need to start to do, which is what I do every day, is every day brush your brain on a daily basis. What do I mean by this? Now, most of us understand basic biochemistry, I assume. Now, we know that when we eat in the day and at night, the particles of food in our mouth gets fermented by the bacteria in our mouth. Now, because of that, they generate sulfur dioxide, and that now starts to generate the bad breath that we have, right? Now, what happens is that while we brush is that because we want to eliminate the mouth odor that will come out, we brush our mouth every morning. But you also need to understand that any day you go out and a customer tells you that when a product not work, is leaving particles on your brain. Any day you go out to sell and somebody tells you that your products are too expensive, is leaving particles on your brain. And if you don't do anything to those particles, what do you think will start to happen over a time period? The motivation to now go out to actually talk to those people will start to. Now, what will now start to happen is that your mind will now start to give you wonderful excuses for not going to that place anymore. Suddenly, this man that would have actually given you millions in sales, your mind will start to say, those people, they don't pay on time. Those people, their place is too far. Without knowing that it's the particles of the negative information, that country is bad, things are difficult, that are in your mind that you are now using to actually manifest. Now, what is the solution? On a daily basis, have a list of motivational audio and video that you listen to. So what do I do? If you stay in Lagos, you know that if you drive, on the average, no matter where you live, you give 1 hour in traffic. So within that 1 hour is enough time for you to go online, search for one of the biggest salesman that has videos on YouTube, which is Brian Cardone. Put on his video and start within that time period that you take you to drive from your house to the first sales call point. You have listened to at least 30 minutes of a sales training. One of the things I also do is I listened to a man that said he wanted to lose weight. And so he got some messages on how to lose weight. And first thing in the morning, he played those messages. And he found out that he told him the things to do in the day and things to avoid. And after 30 days, when he checked himself, he noticed that he lost weight. But amazingly, he also noticed that his wife, without consciously knowing it, was actually starting to lose weight. Do you know what's happened? Because he was listening to it and he was playing it in the house, the wife was unconsciously listening to it and was also programming her mind. You need to deliberately start to reprogram your mind to start to see that 6.5 billion is not such a big figure. So, okay, like you said, it's about, out of the 6.5 billion, your own share of it, you need to start to see that this amount is not such a big figure. And does this thing work? Let me give you, when there's a guy called Jesse Duplantis that July of last year, I started to listen to on a daily basis. And he talked about how he achieved what he achieved and how you can achieve it. And that was when I felt, we can actually start to build our campus too. And the more I listened to it, the more I listened to him over and over and over. Amazingly, less than about a year down the line, we are almost completing the project. My point is that you need to have a system that on a subconscious level actually starts to motivate and train you. Each the best trainers, the best teachers in any topic you want are actually on YouTube. What I do on at least every day, I spend 3 hours on YouTube listening to YouTube videos. And there's a page called Billionaire Investors. Every day I listen to at least 3 billionaires share their ideas. And let me tell you how the impact that this had for me. One of my clients had a business deal that was about 500 million, and he just called me and said, if I go and handle this. Now, because I've actually listened to this over and over again, at that level, 500 million was not sounding as if it was such a big figure for me. But at your own small level, at your own individual level, not really small, but at your own level now, let's say your target, for instance, is, let's say it's now 10 million, for instance. So over the year, you have about 120 million. So let's say you now start on a daily basis to listen to, let's say somebody like Tony Robbins, who just starts to share with you sales secret on how you can actually meet your target. I guarantee you, when you do this at least 1 hour every day, by the middle of the year, you start to see that 120 will start to look like as if it's a small figure to you. The second one is actually about motivation, that you are not your hair. What does this mean? There's this song by Indiari that says, yes, I'm not my hair. What it means that because you are wearing low cut does not define your life. Because you are wearing wig does not mean that that is who you are. In sales, there are days that sales will be very bad for you. There might be weeks that sales will be very bad for you. But it's important for you, just like your hair does not define you, that those bad days does not define your life. Because you had bad sales days or bad sales week does not mean you're a bad salesperson. Which means you need to dissociate yourself from a bad sales day or a bad sales experience. Are you guys following what I'm saying? If you don't understand that you are not your hair and that a bad sales day does not define you, you find out that with time, somebody might not buy, and with time you just start to tell yourself, people don't buy from me. You know, a few years back, I used to be into pharmaceutical sales too. And I used to have this experience that I'll meet the first person, second person, third person. All of them will say, we don't want to buy, we don't want to buy. By the 10th person, it might be around 12 in a day. I just said, man, today I know one sell again. But one day I listened to a message that said, instead of counting the number of sales, just say, my target is to meet 10 customers or 20 customers. But you know the amazing thing that started to happen? When somebody just says no to me, I count it as 1. I go to the next person, he says no, I count. I realized that between the 15th and 20th sales customers, I could make so much sales for one person that covers my target for a week. That is why it's important for you to learn to dissociate yourself from your hair. See the bigger picture. It's about for yourself. Have you looking at in the next 5 years, where do I see the company? How many of us know the vision of the mission of the company? Vision statement or mission statement of the company. So how come you are working in a company and you don't even know the mission of the company? Assuming now the mission of the company is that by 2019 we are shutting down and moving to another business. Do you go to a park and you see a bus and you just say how much? I'll strongly suggest for those of us who don't know the mission of the company, go back and find out from the HR what really is the long-term to medium-term plan of the company. What is the mission of this company? What is the vision of this company? So that you can look at in the bigger picture, is there a space for me in this organization? As me, for instance, in the next 5 to 10 years, the MD is planning to take the company to the Nigerian Stock Exchange. You can say, okay, in the next 10 years, I will become a shareholder in this company, because by then, when they are being listed, the employees actually get shares allotted to them. It's important for us to actually have a very clear, at least 5 years picture of where the company is heading, so that even if you are putting in so much effort today, We know that by tomorrow, there's a bigger future, there's a bigger hope for me in this organization where I'm working in. A lot of us are actually going in circles because we've not asked ourselves, in the next 5 years, where do we see ourselves in this organization? But when you look at the vision of the company and say the vision is to do this in the next 5 years, next 10 years, and our mission is to do this, you now know that I've keyed into the mission of the organization, and in the next 5 years, I'll actually achieve what I want to achieve. So, which is about mission and big goal. Sorry, I need to also skip something because of time. So, the part that why Oga Emeka asked me to actually do this thing was that he saw a part in my book that talked about how you work with people and how you can actually get results from people. And he said I actually need to dwell more on this in this training, which is part of what I will be talking about today. A lot of us talk without passion and energy in our voice. And you need to understand, majorly, it's not really about what you say. Because if you look at communication and you do a research, you find out that the content of what you say conveys less than 20% of the information you are trying to pass across. But the non-verbal cues, the energy in your voice. Okay, let's say, so my sister, what's your name? Sorry, Ebonua. Okay, so let's say I say on the road and I want to toast her, right? And I say, Ebonua, how now? And I say, hey, how now? Which one do you think she'll respond to more? It's about the energy. If you don't understand how important the energy is, the energy of your voice is in sales, it will be very difficult for you to achieve your part of the target this year. Now, see something that, so over the years, I've actually been studying some CEOs, and I actually noticed it also with your MD sometime last year. I was with him, and one of you guys walked in, and the person made a request. The way he responded told this person that I needed to produce the result he wants from me. Now, if you study all CEOs, you notice that most of them have this what they call energy voice. There's a voice that they talk to you and you know that is a no-nonsense voice. If you don't learn to actually start to build passion into your voice such that when you go to a pharmacy store and you are talking to the sales boy, by the energy in your voice, the person will know that I need to respond to this person immediately. There's a way you walk into a shop and the way you are talking, they'll say, okay, please, sit down. But when there's that energy, there's passion in your voice, you find out that people start to make way for you. Now, there's something that most people don't understand. Something about one of the greatest communicators the world have actually witnessed is Adolf Hitler. No matter how horrible the guy is. But what most people don't know is that before he became a very good communicator, that Hitler spent months practicing speaking skills. He would stand in front of a mirror, stand and start to practice his skills. He would get a video camera and start to record himself. And he watched that until he had built such energy that, how many of us have actually listened to Hitler? When you listen to him, the energy in his voice and his speaking, you believe whatever he's saying. If we don't add that energy to our voice, it will be extremely difficult for us to achieve what we want to achieve. The next one is about asking a lot of questions. Assumption is the mother of all mistakes. Most of us, they say, okay, go to Ibadan. And you just assume that they expect you to go to the teaching hospital. And you drive off. And you get there. After some time, you come back. I've gone to teaching hospital. Say, is that where I'll ask you to go to? A lot of people fail to realize that the mistakes they make in life is because they don't ask clarifying questions. Okay, my target for the year is 150 million. Can I break it down to 20 million per month? Okay, you've given me a target of 150 million. Do I get any canvassers to work with me? A lot of us that didn't make meet our target for this 2018 missed our target because there were certain questions that we needed to ask at certain points and we failed to ask them. And when you fail to ask some of these questions, you find out that the result you're supposed to get, you don't get them anymore. Learn executive writing skills. This is one of the areas that a lot of people, you know, in life, especially the way the world is designed, the way you communicate, the way you write, will actually to a very large extent determine what you achieve. And see, the danger is that because of our phone, because of some of this, we don't realize that some of these ways, shorthand ways of writing, is now gradually start to creep in the way we actually communicate officially. Most of us tend to assume that we know how to actually write corporate mails. And you find out that you want to write a mail, but the key point you are trying to pass across is at the 7th paragraph. And in the first and second paragraph, you're already talking about other things, but the major point you are trying to pass across is at the 7th paragraph. Where do you think whoever is reading your mail, where will be his focus? So how come the first 2 paragraphs of the mail you are sending to the Oga or to Mr. Simeon, how come it doesn't contain the critical point? If there are other, let's say there are other problems you are facing in your field that you want to narrate, take it down to the 10th or 5th paragraph. But let the 1, 2, 3 paragraph contain the information, the key information you want attended to. If you don't understand these writing skills, if you don't understand this basic concept, you find out that when you are communicating to your superiors, that the concept you are trying to pass across is not being communicated. And how do we master sales in the coming year? Number one is we're looking at mentors and coaches. A lot of us have not realized that whatever you want to achieve in life, somebody else has already achieved those things. Now, it's easier for you. Let's say you want to go to Kano. Who covers Kano? So let's say you've not been to Kano before and you want to go to Kano. Who is the best person to give you a direction to Kano? How come you want to master sales and you've not looked at who is the best salesperson in this company and you've gone to meet the person? How are you achieving your target? And on a weekly basis, you call this person and say, please, how did you do this? Who is the, for last year, who was the best salesperson? Simeon. Who was the highest sales? Joy. How many people have called you to ask you how did you achieve it? So, if we have somebody who is doing very well, how do you think we can replicate our results? When we actually go to her for her to start to mentor us. If you didn't do well in 2018, how do you expect to do better if you don't go to those who have actually done very well to ask them, how did you achieve this result? That is where coaching and mentoring is important. Each and every one of us needs to have a coach in this sales business. You need to have whatever you are trying to achieve. You need to find out who has already achieved this thing that I'm trying to achieve, and you go to actually key into that person so that the person can actually help you to achieve this thing that you want to achieve. Because without that system of having a coach or having a mentor in the sales field, achieving the result, you find out you are only actually repeating the same average result you got last year. And which is why for most companies now, what they actually do is, in setting up their sales team, they try to say, okay, you that didn't do well this year, 3 of you now, make sure on a daily basis you liaise with this person, which is something I actually recommend for the company. I've seen it work a lot of times. Find out those who are not doing very well and say, we will now use this person to measure you going forward. So, this is the result she or she is getting. Make sure every day you ask her, how do you do your marketing? Even if it's possible, self, on your own, go out one day and join this person in the field. Or you can just call her, see, Joy, see, today, this weekend, I'll sponsor you. I'll pay for your hotel bill, I'll pay for your this thing. I've already told Senior about it. Please, come and show me how you do this thing. You bring her to your territory, she works with you. She shows you how she does it. So that when she leaves on your own now, you can now replicate those things that she has talked to you about. And I also talked about online seminars. See, the world has been made so wonderful that any new knowledge you want to acquire are readily available. You have, like I said, most of our courses are given online. Apart from that, we have Udemy. How many of us know Udemy? How many of us know Coursera? Any course you want to take on sales and marketing, you can actually get it online. It's about you now. And most of them rarely cost above $20. And you can get the best training that can actually help you achieve. See, the point I'm trying to actually get with this is the knowledge base you are entering 2019 with. For you as a group to actually achieve this 6.5 billion, the knowledge you used to operate in 2018 needs to change. If you are in primary 1 and all you know is 1 plus 1, for you to actually go to primary 5, you need to get the knowledge between that primary 1 and primary 5 that can actually help you operate at a higher level. If you don't do that, there's no way you can actually get a better result. And I've talked about the audio and video seminars. It's very easy for any course you want. Just go to YouTube. And when you search it, and the good thing is that you can now, YouTube allows you to actually download these videos onto your phone. So even if you don't have data, you can actually go there and look at the presentation by the MD of General Electric. Yesterday I was listening to the MD of Uber worldwide. How they were able to survive the crash and how they developed and designed their new sales team. You can learn these new strategies of marketing when you now go to YouTube. Just Google Talks by Uber MD, Talks by Bayer Sales Marketing Team. When you learn these things, you find out that these skills becomes naturally to you because the experts are the ones teaching you how to do them. So, I want to do a simple exercise.